friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla, and I'm so happy that you're here today. I'm happy that I'm able to be here with you today. And I don't know how you got here, but I am excited that you are here. So if you want to grab you a drink, maybe a snack, maybe a project to work on, whether it's crochet or anything else, or maybe you just need to fold laundry, grab it and let's just visit for a while and hang out. I hope you're all having a great day, or if you're just watching this and your day's just getting started, I hope your day is great. Looking forward to a wonderful day myself. So, did y'all know that March is National Crochet Month? I did not know that. It came across somewhere. I don't know where I saw it. It just came up somewhere and I saw that. And I was like, huh, well, that's interesting. I'm kind of relearning the crochet this month, so that's cool. Y'all, I am drinking coffee from the box that Lisa sent me, and she said it's called Two Rivers, I believe. She did leave a link in the Facebook group to the box of coffee that she purchased. It's 40 K-cups. All assorted, and I do not think they repeat. I think they're all different cups. And so far I have only saw one that I know I will not be able to drink because it's coconut, and I'm allergic to coconut. But that's the only one I've seen so far that I would have an issue with. The rest of them sound yummy, and I'm enjoying all the different flavors, just taste testing, you know. This one that I'm drinking tonight is chocolate caramel, and it is really good. Now I don't add sugar, but I do add some creamer. It's international. It's a red bottle, international creamer. I don't know, sweet and creamy. I purchased it at Walmart. I do have a little of that in here. You can tell that I have probably a lot of creamer in here, but anyway, it tastes really good. When this was making, I put the K-cup in and it started coming out, it smelled so good. So, Lisa, thank you for the coffee this month. I am enjoying those. And so each day whenever I record, I'm trying a new coffee there to see. So I've been crocheting a little bit. You can see it's still slow go, but I'm getting my groove down and just trying different things to see what's going to work for me. I did try the tension ring in the last video, and then I tried it again off video, and it was more aggravating to me. And that's just the way I am. Like, I know for me, using an aid is going to be more aggravating to me than just doing it. So I'm finding if I can come back and hold that with my pinky and thumb, now that I can use my, pinky much more, it takes the strain off of my shoulder. I did lift my arm a little bit, but I'm going to try to be conscious about that and not lift my arm so much. But it seems like I have to some. And that's just getting the strength to pull it through. That has nothing to do with needing a pillow. I don't need a pillow. But that's helping me. And maybe after this heals up and I get stitches out and not having a bandage on there, maybe then I'll be able to do something a little bit different. But right now, this is what I'm going to have to do. Is just, and then kind of come and hold that. That is so much easier, and not putting so much strain on me. But my yarn does seem to split a lot. I'm sure it's me and not the yarn. It's just me. I know it is, because I don't think it was doing that before. But yeah, this is working for me for right now. And like I said, I might change this up as I you know, as my hand heals and the stitches come out and more swelling goes down. A lot of swelling has went down like this. I wasn't expecting to be able to touch this soon, because in past fingers that did not happen for, you know, about 2 weeks or so. So it's still a little bit of swelling through here. Now I am bumping this. Oh my gosh, I just keep accidentally bumping it. And I do the same thing over here. I bump these all the time. And right up under here is nerves. And when you hit those nerves, oh my gosh, whew, it takes your breath away and it just hurts for a moment. I mean, tears to the eyes, painful to bump these. And I bump them all the time, every day, every day. That's just part of my life now. So there's nothing I can do about it. It's just part of it. But I can see that this is working a little bit better for me right here. So yeah, so this month I am working on this baby blanket. It's a gift for a co-worker's grandbaby of Big Daddy's co-worker. I say that kind of awkward every time. It's Big Daddy's co-worker's grandbaby. Okay, so anyway, and it's a co-worker that's very dear to our hearts. And so anyway, so that's what I'm working on. It is a duck blanket. Do you see a duck? There's a duck there, okay? One day I'm going to make the pieces for the face, but I've got to get a little more comfortable with my crocheting before I start making, you know, stuff for this, okay? Anyway, that's what I'm working on. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for sitting here visiting with you guys and working on this, I might not would get it done. So thank you for being here for me and helping me get this blanket done. Yes, you are helping me by being here. And you know, I kind of worry about y'all getting tired of seeing the same project. And I worried about that all during February when I was working on that sweetheart blanket also. I was like, they're going to get tired of seeing the same project every day. But it helped me, really. I got that, you know, just working on that project every day, that little bit. It really did help me get it done. And it's going to help me get this baby blanket done also, because the baby is here. It was born a few nights ago now. And I hadn't got an update on the baby, but I will ask Big Daddy tomorrow. It's best that I text him while he's at work so he can ask her then, because if I ask him tonight, he'll get busy with work tomorrow and then forget if he don't see her or whatever. Let me see, did that split earlier? Yeah. That had split, and so I don't want that to only be like 2 strands of yarn on there. But, so anyway, what I'm doing this month is working on this blanket and answering questions that you guys leave in the comment section. So, drop me a comment, and in the next video, or coming up in another video, I will be answering those questions that are left in today's video. So drop me a comment down there in the comment section. And if you ever want to tell me anything, that comment section is the place to communicate with me. I don't check email. I don't check any kind of messenger type things. I just don't do all that kind of stuff, okay? I am barely on Facebook at all. I only get on Facebook to look for something mainly, and then to get on there and just for the Llama and Big Daddy Facebook group. I get on there and scroll for just a little bit and, you know, like stuff as I can. Now sometimes I can get it to come up and scroll, but then I don't have the internet doesn't stay with me to actually like stuff and do things. And I try to post when I upload a new video. I try to immediately go post it over there. But, so I'm not really on Facebook. Like, I do not post on a personal page on Facebook or anything like that. So if you want to communicate and tell me something, tell me in the comments below here, because I do read the comments here on the YouTube videos. Under the videos, there's comments. I read those. Whew. It is a little bit of a workout. Have you seen some of the challenges that people have done? The 2-thumb challenge. People are trying to crochet with 2 thumbs. I have left some links to some of those, the ones as I come across them, in the Facebook group. I'll leave a link to it so you can go and watch it. And there have been some very good tries and some very good, videos on that. The latest one I watched was Jane from Scrapstastic Yarns. That's the last one I just watched a few minutes ago. And bless her heart, my heart was racing while I was watching that. I mean, my heart was just pounding. And she totally got my struggle. She totally understood my shoulder pain that I talked about, because you have to pull your yarn through. See, that's just splitting, and you have to pull your yarn through, and you're just working you're working this arm in a totally different way, because you don't have that tension there, and it's not as easy. It's not very easy. But it's doable, but it's also painful. Like, it's painfully slow. It's a little bit painful on your shoulder. But I think me doing it this way is a little bit less strain on the shoulder. Now that I can use that pinky some. But anyway, I do appreciate the ones who have attempted, all in fun, the challenge there. All in fun doing that, and just seeing what it's like. Now, keep in mind, everything I do in my house, I'm just doing it with these 2 thumbs, and now that little pinky. And I've injured this thumb. It has a cut on it right here. I'm not sure if I don't think it gets in the shadow, but there's a cut on it right there. So the pad of this thumb is very sore, and I'm having to be careful using it. And then I got this over here. Who is fresh out of, surgery. As of last Friday, I had this middle finger amputated, if you don't know. And so, yeah, it gets frustrating. It really does. And one of the main things that's frustrating is having to ask for help. I do not like to ask for help at all. And just before I come and made this video, I needed Big Daddy to come open the dishwasher, because I can't open the dishwasher by myself. And so I needed him to open it so I could get a cup out, because I wanted this particular cup. So I asked him, I said, will you come open the dishwasher for me? He's like, yeah, I'm coming. Well, I went back in the kitchen. I stood there and I stood there and I stood there until I was getting frustrated, because, I could have opened the dishwasher and been in there making my coffee. And so I'm standing there waiting on him, and that's frustrating to me, is having to wait on someone. Not that he's slow. He's slow. But I wasn't frustrated at him. I was frustrated at myself, because I just don't want to wait on anyone. I want to just do it myself. And so that's where a lot of my frustration comes in at. I don't want to have to depend on anyone, and And I'm having to learn to do that a little bit, and it's not fun. I get frustrated. Oh, goodness. So, people have asked about this hook, and someone did make a comment and said it's from Nerdy Birdie Company, Nerdy Birdie CO on Etsy. And I think she has some witch fingers on there. They said this is called a zombie finger. I don't remember it being called that. But some people have said that it's a zombie finger. I guess I chipped the red there. I don't know. But anyway, I think she did have witch fingers, but they had like some symbols on there that I didn't want. I wanted one in a flesh tone that looked like a real finger, but I think it had some extra stuff on there that I didn't care for. And so this was one she had, and I just got it because I figure a finger's going to eventually turn green anyway or something. Black, green, I don't know. I did read the pathology report of my finger because they send that off. And so it came back on my chart. I was looking at my chart on the computer, and the pathology report was on there, and it stated that the finger had gangrene, and it did say something about the veins or vessels or whatever. I don't remember exactly what it did say about that, but the doctor had already told us that the veins were tiny and closed. Ugh. That is... It's hard trying to get that through without that yarn splitting. That's a little frustrating there. I'm gonna have to just remember to yeah, that's much easier if I hold that there to do it. So I don't know if that'll be the way I always have to do it, but for now that seems to be working. Is that 3? Yep. And so I'm gonna go with it for now. Oh. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna get into answering some of the questions under this video, under last video. I'll answer some of the questions there. I'm getting a little sip of my coffee, okay? I hope you all are working on a project. Okay, and my question for you all on this video is, if you have pets or you've had pets in the past, how do you go about naming your pets? Or if you were to get a pet, how would you go about choosing a name? I had talked about, someone had asked me about Phoebe's name, and I just kind of told, you know, how she got her name. And my friend Angela kind of helped name her. Angela and Elijah did. And so someone, Kelly, was saying that her and her husband, he names the male dogs and male animals, and she names the female animals. So I thought that was interesting that they you know, take turns like that. we usually only get female animals. We usually don't get boy dogs. I personally don't want a boy dog. I'm not knocking the boys. I just prefer a female animal. I prefer females. So anyway, I thought it would be interesting to hear how you go about picking animal names. Whether it's a cat, dog, bird, frog, lizard, whatever. Whatever pet. And if you don't have a pet, if you were to get a pet, how would you choose the name? And it could be, you know, pets you've had in the past or something, you know. Anyway, I just thought that would be interesting to read. But getting into the questions, I had talked about Big Daddy's daddy. He passed away when Dakota was 3 months old. And someone asked about Big Daddy's mom. Now, she lived next door to us. Her and Mr. Miller were total opposites. Total opposites. She was like 5 foot, maybe like 5'2". I mean, she was really, really short. And he was like over 6 foot tall, like 6'1" or 6'2", something like that. But he was, 6 foot tall and she was 5 foot tall. And so they were, like totally opposites in that and everything else too. Now my mother-in-law was a very sweet lady. She was a Pentecost lady. Very, very sweet. She always wanted to keep an even keel. I've mentioned that before. Me and one of the brothers didn't get along, and she would say, "Let's keep an even keel." And so, but she was sweet, a sweet lady, sweet lady. She loved us. We loved her. She loved my kids, and she and I would often, and the kids would, often go and do stuff together, go to town together, and just whatever. If we went on homeschool field trips, she went with us a lot. Or if we went out to eat with friends, we'd take her with us. I mean, we did a lot with her. She would come over here all the time. So we were with her a lot. And then she actually passed away in 2016. Jody's brother passed away unexpectedly in 2016. This is his oldest brother. Right after our home had flooded, like March the 10th in 2016, his brother passed away maybe 5 days later. And then his mom passed away about 2 weeks later. So that was really, really a hard time for us, losing our home, losing our brother, and then losing our mother, all right there together, was so hard on us. So anyway, let's see. Moving on. And I am working on this blanket slowly. And it might be painfully slow to some of you. It's painfully slow to me. But as Marie said, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So how do you crochet a blanket? One stitch at a time. So that's what I'm doing. One stitch at a time. But I tell you what, I wouldn't be getting this done if it wasn't for you guys. Cheering me on. I feel the love. I feel the support. And I appreciate it so very much. I wish I was going a little faster just because I want to get the project done. But I also know that I've got to, relearn a way to crochet. And we each have to find what's comfortable. I had mentioned in another video, just everybody holds their hook differently. Everybody holds their yarn differently. You have to find what works for you. And so that's what I'm doing. But I'm suspecting that after my hand heals up and stitches are out, I might even find a different way. But for now, this is what I got going. It's what I got going on. And people have asked for wedding photos of me and Big Daddy. There is a little wedding. I think my son had put it up, an anniversary video a few years ago. And I'm going to make myself a note right here to look for that and to link it in the description box. I'm writing wedding video. It's not really a wedding video. It's like an anniversary from a few years ago. and my son had, Dakota had made us a little anniversary, a little photo slide. So I'm going to link that in the description box below if you want to see some wedding photos from me and Big Daddy's wedding. We had a nice wedding. We paid for it ourselves. We had a really big cake that I paid a lady to make. I got my dress from JCPenney's. Ordered it out of their catalog at the time. This was back in 1990. That's when we got married. So, I'll leave that in the link below. And then someone's asked about photos of me and Big Daddy when we were younger and first got married. I do have some, and if I find them, let me write that down. If I don't write it down, I will not do it. If I find some conveniently on my phone, I will try to pop them in somewhere in the video. They may be at the beginning, they may be at the end, I don't know. They probably won't be right here because I'm not gonna search for this little section. Okay, I did find some wedding photos of me and Big Daddy. We were just babies. That's our wedding cake. It was a fountain under there and had grooms on one side and bridesmaids on the other. That's my bridesmaids, and Angela was not a bridesmaid in my wedding. That is me right there with my brother and my two nieces, and that's my sister with my two nieces, and then me again with my brother and two nieces. I didn't know I put that one in twice. And then that is me and Big Daddy at our wedding. And then this is us just before our wedding as we were dating. And that's another photo of us while we were dating. And then I did find a couple pictures of Elijah. That's Elijah when he was an angel. That's the country hick that he did grow up as. And there he is as a baby. I did not see any of Dakota as a baby on this phone. We were cute. Alright, someone was asking about me and my friend Angela. We have been friends since the 4th grade is when I moved to the neighborhood, and we've been friends since then. And they asked, did me and Angela play dolls together? No. We were tomboys. Now, I did have some dolls, and I played dolls at night by myself, but that's not something me and Angela did. Her mom decorated her bedroom in dolls, and Angela hated it. She never was into dolls. And she had beautiful, beautiful dolls all in her room, like huge porcelain dolls. But we were tomboys. We were playing in the mud. Like, we had a bunch of boys in our neighborhood, and me and Angela was not going to be outdone by those boys. She had a brother 13 months older than her, and so we were always fighting with them boys and doing whatever the boys did, we did. We was on our bicycles, jumping ramps, mud puddles, riding three-wheelers out in the mud. We'd come back and have to spray off with a water hose to get all the mud off of us. We were out living the life, okay? Crawfishing. We were doing it all. Everything that you wouldn't want your kid out there doing today, we were doing it. Someone asked, they were asking me about why don't I get Social Security, disability, or whatever. I did not work enough to pay in on that. Yes, I worked a couple years at Sonic and maybe a year at Walmart, but you don't pay in for 3 years and then draw Social Security on that. You have to work for many, many years to be able to. I mean, I know people who have worked all their life and they still get the thing that says they haven't paid in enough to draw, so you have to work a lot before you can do that. And I certainly did not. I didn't work. I homeschooled my kids. So I only worked maybe about 3 years between Walmart and Sonic. So that's definitely not enough to draw an income off of. And then all other Social Security, like SSDI and all that kind of stuff, that's dependent on your income, and we do have an income. To get all that, you can't have an income. And Big Daddy, thankfully, does work. He's always worked and provided. We've had to be creative at times to make it work, but we've always made it work. All right, let's see. Moving on down. Somebody was asking about a hook holder. I'm not sure what they were talking about, unless they're talking about this purple bucket here. This is just, it came from Dollar Tree. At the beginning of the school year, they'll have stuff like this at Dollar Tree. And so that's what this is. See? Dollar Tree logo. That's not really a Dollar Tree logo, but you know it comes from Dollar Tree if you see that. But anyway, I guess that peels off, but I just had never done it. But I guess the hook holder they're talking about is this, or unless they're talking about this hook holder. I just realized that. That hook holder is, it's a sugar cane mold. It's sugar mold. Not sugar cane, but sugar mold. Back in the day, they would pack sugar in this to make sugar cones. Let me see if I can get them out. Okay, back in the day, they would stuff that packed sugar in that. I'm sure they'd like put some paper in there or something, pack it with sugar. So that's what that is. Now, that could be what they were asking about. And so sometimes you can find these at like flea markets or thrift stores and different things like that. And so that's where I picked these up over the years. My boys had one that they used at their desk in their bedrooms for like pens and pencils, colored pencils, art stuff, you know, paint brushes. And then I had one that I put candles in on the dining table sometimes. And so I have that one that I just decided a year or so ago, well, maybe not even that long ago, 6 months ago or so, I decided I was going to put crochet hooks in it. So there we go. So that could be the hook holder she's talking about. She's asking about. Ring. I talked about that ring. I just can't use it. It's too frustrating. Too frustrating for me. So I took it off and threw it. No, it's right. It's right up here. But I tried it several different ways after reading some comments. I was like, I knew I wasn't doing it right. I knew that what I was doing wasn't quite right. So I tried it some different ways after reading comments, and it still just did not work for me. I get frustrated too easy. Too easy. Monica. Okay, so Monica was asking about, one time I made a duck for Big Daddy. I did finish that duck, Monica. If you go on my channel and search Crochet Duck, you will find a video where I finished Big Daddy's duck. It took me a long time because I didn't really want to make a duck at the time. So it took me a long time to finish it. But you can go find that video and see how his duck turned out. And it's sitting on his dresser. He has a chest of drawers. And it is setting up on top of that is where his duck is. I need to design like a duck. He likes gnomes. Big Daddy likes gnomes. So I need to design a gnome, a duck gnome of some kind. I'm gonna have to think about that and see what I can come up with. And someone did ask me about my projects. When I get an idea, do I write it down or draw it out or what? Kind of both. I will kind of draw what I'm thinking about, and I'll kind of just write down, label it and stuff like that. So kind of both. I do have some notebooks where I've drew projects that I wanted to make. Let me see if I can get this through. Okay. Tension is the biggest thing, but I just got to figure it out. Okay, let me just turn this work and see if I can't get this a little bit better here. Oh, let's see. Okay, so someone was asking me about my flea market booth. Yes, it was like a big building that had lots of flea market booths in it, and then people would, like, there was a cashier up front. People would just get items and take up there and check out, so I didn't have to be there. And we did several different flea markets, and sometimes I would have multiple booths, like sometimes a lot of booths. It depends on which flea markets, were doing the best. I would get more booths to put stuff in. And so my kids and I would do rummage sales and auctions and buy stuff to sell. And I was talking about, I kind of used that as some of their schoolwork, practical math, because they could buy things and sell in the booth, and we would put numbers, we could label it, and then put a code or whatever. And so if we would put like a D for Dakota, an E for Elijah, or a K for Kayla, so we would know whose item it was. And we did have to pay booth rent, and so my kids learned about that. This is how much you made, but hey, you got to pay part of our rent for our booth. And so, yeah, it taught them a lot. It did. And so, I lost it. Hold on. Betty said when she was young, she had to work in the fruit stand. I guess her parents' fruit stand. I'm not exactly sure. But she had to work in a fruit stand, and that's where she learned to talk to people. And so she did flea markets with her kids too, and kind of taught them the same thing. I think that hands-on learning is great. It is awesome. It's the best kind of learning, hands-on learning. And yes, my kids had to learn to communicate with people, greet people whenever, they were at the booth and we were there working it, stocking and stuff like that, and people would come by or come through the booth. The kids had to greet them, tell them hello and ask them how they were doing and try to strike up a conversation with them, and then answer questions that people would have about stuff in our booth, or show them items they might be interested in. So I think my kids did learn a lot from that. Like I said, hands-on learning is the best. And then moving on, someone was mentioning that they would go to auctions too and buy boxes for about, $1 to $3. The auction we actually went to would have like $3 tables. So it would be a whole table piled full of junk. And we could get those tables like $3 and all kinds of stuff. Now, keep in mind, some of the stuff would just be junk and have to be thrown away. But then some stuff would be like worth putting $5, $6 on and putting in a booth. So one item could make your $3 back, and then everything else was just pure profit. So we did that a lot. And we would buy a table, and you know, everybody would claim stuff from it, like, oh, I'm selling this or I'm selling that, you know. It was fun. It really was. We had a lot of fun doing that, and I hope my kids have good memories of doing all that kind of stuff. And like I said, Dakota does have a flea market booth now that he goes to rummage sales and buys things for his flea market booth. And he's doing okay in it. I mean, he's making a profit. After the monthly rent, he's making a profit, so it's good. You just have to be attentive and go by and clean up your booth and move stuff around every few days. That's what gets you sales, is making your booth look different, adding new things, and all that. I started out with a little bitty tiny $30 booth. It's $30 rent. I don't think the man who owned the flea market store, I don't think he thought I was going to do that well. After that month, he offered me a bigger booth, and I ended up getting my own room. The building that we were in had different little rooms and stuff, and so he gave me, well, I paid rent, but he gave me that whole room. I was the only booth in it. It was just my room. And so me and my kids went up there and painted it and kind of decorated it and filled that sucker up. And then from then, we just, every now and then, we would just rent a new booth. When a new booth come available, we would just rent it and fill it up with stuff. Those were good memories. Oh, someone was mentioning that, remember a few years ago, the pregnant giraffe, and they had the webcam on him, and you could go and watch, or her, you could go and watch that pregnant giraffe. That was, yeah, I was checking in every day to see if the giraffe was born. And so at the same time, there was one of our homeschool students had grown up and got married to another homeschool student, and they were expecting a baby. And so I was like pitting her in a race with the giraffe, like who is going to have the baby first, her or the giraffe and such, you know. That was funny. But yeah, we were watching that giraffe. I totally knew exactly what you were talking about when you mentioned that. And I appreciate you watching my videos. I really do. That is so sweet. And I'm happy to be here for you. Well, there we go. All right. Let me see. What else we got? Okay. Thank you all so much for saying prayers for Shannon. She had asked for prayer, and I appreciate you all, you know, saying that you would pray for her and such. That's so sweet of y'all. And Shannon is making a shawl, or maybe she just finished it, but she's been working on a shawl for her friend who is 104 years old. Oh my goodness. 104 years old. Wow. Wow. Oh, let's see. Okay, so someone was asking about, why don't I get Zeke's mom to come and help me with like my feeding tube and stuff. Y'all, she is busy. She has 7 kids and she's homeschooling them. And they have lots of things going on. Like on Mondays, they have co-op all day long. They leave early in the morning to go to homeschool co-op, which is classes for the kids. And they're going to that all day long. And then throughout the week, they have, homeschool field trips. Several of the kids go to different types of therapies, doctor's appointments. They have homeschool activities. The kids all play soccer. They have a lot going on. They're not home all the time. And I just would not want her to take away from her kids to come and do something for me. I just would not. I wouldn't even ask that. Because I know she's busy. She is busy. And then, not only when they're gone a lot, when they are home, they're trying to do school and she's got to supervise all that. So, yeah. I would never ask her that. Just because I know how busy she is. Okay, so, I got this question. They said that I know Big Daddy likes lemon. What flavor do you like? My flavor is caramel. Caramel anything, I'm all about it, okay? I love caramel. Big time. And I know some people say caramel, but I say caramel. We all say it differently in our home or our family. But I love caramel. Yeah. And he loves lemon. And I don't like lemon. I don't like anything sour. Ugh. Sour just really turns me off. And let's see. Okay, so someone said, what's the funniest thing that you remember your kids saying? I can only think of one thing, and I said this here recently. I think I said it last month. But I will share this because it is funny. I think it's one of the funniest things. Elijah was a baby, a toddler. He was probably 3, 4 maybe. 3 or 4, he was sitting in the Walmart buggy. And Big Daddy had stopped and was looking at something, and I kept walking. I really didn't know he had stopped, but I kind of just kept walking. And then Elijah was like, Daddy, we left Daddy. And I was like, oh, it's okay, we'll get a new Daddy. And he was like, no, I don't want a new Daddy. And I said, well, he better hurry up. He better come on. And then, I just kept going because I knew he'd find me. He'd catch up. And so Elijah's sitting there in the buggy saying, I don't want a new Daddy. I don't want a new Daddy. And so we turned the corner and there was a man standing there. And Elijah said, is that my new Daddy? That was so funny. So embarrassing. Oh my gosh. I could have crawled under a Walmart shelf. It was very embarrassing. And it is still funny, though, to this day. Just the look on that man's face was like, Oh my gosh. Yes. So I that's what the story that comes to mind when you ask, what's something funny that my kids had said. I know kids, are so funny. I'm sure we all got lots of stories of things our kids said or did growing up. Oh, let's see. Oh, Tracy said, this was kind of a funny. Tracy said that she has a daughter that was born on Flag Day, a daughter that was born on New Year's, And her son was born on the day of Katrina, when Katrina hit New Orleans. So she tells him that he was her natural disaster. That's so something I would tell my kid. That's so something I would tell my kid. That he was a natural disaster born on that day. Wow. Ugh. Okay, so I was going to talk to my doctor about getting Dakota an appointment, my son Dakota, in to see him. Oh, see, I should have put my clippy here, my safety pin, my stitch marker, because I was looking at this thinking, what am I doing here? But I'm going up to do a new row, so, right? Yes, that's a corner. So I was supposed to put a cluster here and then a cluster here. So that's why I should put a stitch marker in, because I get talking and I'm not paying attention. Okay, so this is where I'm joining in, and then I'm going to jump up for a new row. Okay, so anyway, I was saying that I was going to talk to my doctor about getting Dakota an appointment. And so someone asked what's wrong with Dakota. He suspects like rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune, some type of autoimmune, something or another's going on with him. So yeah, that's why he needs to get in and see my doctor in the rheumatology clinic, and then probably end up having to go to Shreveport to see the rheumatologist over there. But yeah, he needs to see someone. And then someone was asking me, why don't I put an ad in the paper looking for someone to help me? Okay, so here's the deal. And then someone else mentioned getting a student nurse and all that. Okay, here's the deal. I live 30 minutes out of town. Like, it's going to take anybody 30 minutes to get to my house. They're going to want to include that in their fee. Like, they're going to want to be paid for driving 30 minutes out to my house, right? So I need someone that lives close to me, that I'm not having to pay their gas to come. Honestly, that's one of the things. And there are 2 churches right here by my house, and I inquired about them, if they had anyone in their church that would be willing to help me, but they're all elderly, and they said that there wasn't any young people there, that it was all elderly people. So yeah. And I even put out, not for that reason, but for, I was looking for somebody to just crochet with, to have a crochet friend. I'm sure there's some lady out there that her kids are grown and she's at home by herself, lonely like me, and would like a crochet friend, is what I'm thinking. There's got to be. I'm not the only one, right? And so there was a Louisiana crochet group, and I found, and I went and posted that in there. But then this is the problem I ran into. People don't want to drive out to my house. They don't want to drive 30 minutes out here. That's a long way. So, yeah. That just wasn't, working out. So then I put it out in my community here. There's a Facebook group for my community, and so I put that out in there. And there were some people that were kind of interested, but then when I tried to nail down, like, okay, so what day and what time is good for you? And I was, hoping we could get 3 or 4 people together and have a little crochet about twice a month, every other week or something like that. Well, then they would come back and say, oh, I work. I can only do that, like the weekend or something. And I was really looking for Big Daddy's home on the weekend. So I was looking for somebody who could come over, like, say, like Tuesday mornings or Thursday mornings or something, and visit for a few hours and crochet and have snacks, and then, something during the day when I'm home alone and lonely. When Big Daddy's home on the weekends, I'm not lonely. So that didn't work out for me either. So it was about 2 or 3 different people who were interested in learning to crochet, and I was getting excited, like I was going to get to teach some people how to crochet, but then they all ended up saying they worked and they couldn't do it during the week. So I don't know. And then I had surgery. By the end of that week, I was in surgery, so I haven't followed up with that. I'm going to put my stitch marker here, and I dropped it. So I will recognize that as the end of the round when I get back to it. Sometimes when you're just looking at like a colors like this, and it kind of just all blends together. Oh, okay. Somebody was asking about my pain. Okay, and they were asking about from 1 to 10 about pain. That number chart is so hard for me. They always ask at the doctor's office, are you in pain today? 1 to 10, what would you rate your pain? That is hard for someone who has chronic pain. As Creative Tracy said in a comment here a couple weeks ago, maybe, or not a couple weeks ago, a few days ago, when you live in chronic pain, it's easy to hide pain. It's easy to people not to know you're in pain because you get used to that pain, and that is very much true. Like, my chronic pain is daily. Some days it's worse than others. It's always there, but some days it's, really, really bad and I just can't stand it. But I live with that pain. And so I don't know what it's like not to have pain, chronic pain. Sometimes, like every once in a while, I might wake up and feel better. I won't say I always feel like, I always have some there, but it might be a good day and might not be as bad, and then you just don't even know how to act because you don't feel normal, because pain is such a part of your life. You just don't know what to do if you don't have all that pain. I know one day, really and truly, I had a good day where I didn't have pain, and that night I cried because I didn't want to go to sleep, because you just never know how you're going to wake up, and I knew I was going to wake up the next morning in pain. And so I cried going to sleep that night because it felt good not to have all that pain. And I don't know why I'm crying now. Yeah. So on a scale 1 to 10, that's so hard to answer. But before surgery, I'd say it was probably about a 7 or 8 most of the time. And then at times it was like 9 or 10. The pain was so bad I could not stand it. After surgery, it's about like a 3 or 4. It hurts a little bit, but it's not anything I can't handle. Like, I haven't taken pain medicine since my surgery. I haven't had to take any pain medicine. It hurts a little bit, but it's not like, oh, I can't stand this. I can totally tolerate it. I'm used to tolerating pain. And so, yeah, if I bump it or something like that, and that does hurt, and whew, sends me a hollering. But it'll subside. You know, I just kind of wait it out and let it subside a little bit when it hits those nerves and such. Oh, yeah. Somebody was asking me the name of the yarn. I don't know. This was all just scrap pieces. That's just a green, probably like a red heart. Then that's an ivory. And then that is, I think that's cafe latte. And then this is the red heart camouflage that I'm using here. The green it was a scrap ball. And the ivory, I don't think it had a label on it. If I would guess, I would say these were all 3 red hearts. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. But I do believe that was cafe latte on that brown. Okay, someone was asking me if I have ever traveled outside of Louisiana. Yes. And they're asking me where. Well, I've been to Mexico, across the border to Mexico. In the United States, I have been to the west as far as in Texas, and to the east as far as Georgia, Florida, so Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and then up as far as Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. No, I went up further in Ohio too. Well, I forgot, we did go up further up to Ohio to visit someone. So anywhere from Ohio down to Louisiana. And as far from Texas to Georgia and Florida. I think that's all the states I've been to. Chicago. Wait, I think we did go to, I was in the airport though. I think we did spend some time in an airport layover. Maybe. But it was one of the times I had to take Elijah to his GI doctor in Cincinnati. Maybe. It's been a few years. I can't remember. Somebody was asking about when I do go see Elijah, what are we going to do with the animals? It's just going to be for one night. That's all we can be gone for. And so they're fine on their own here. I just leave out plenty of food, water, and what have you. So they'll be fine for one night. And then we'll be back. I do have a key that I'll hide outside somewhere in case something was to happen, that I could get someone to come and I could tell them where that key is. Now, I don't know how to say this. Okay, there's a kid, little Zeke. I could get him to come and do something if I needed him to. But here's the thing. We have guns. Big Daddy has lots of guns all around this house. Like, I trust Zeke. I really do. He is a wonderful, great kid. But he's still a kid, you know? And you never know what a kid is going to get an idea. And I just would not want him in our home by himself with guns in the house. Okay? And he's used to guns. He is. They do airsoft wars and stuff like that. At his house, they often have airsoft parties and have a bunch of homeschool kids over and church kids over. So he's familiar with guns and stuff like that, but I personally would worry about it the whole time, even though I don't think Zeke would really mess with them. But what if? You know what I'm saying? And so I would have a miserable time worrying about that. And Big Daddy has guns at different places, like at his chair, by his bed, where he sits in the den there. You know, I mean, there's just guns all over the place. They're kind of hidden. They're not out on display, but there's guns in the closet, you know, on his dresser. There's just... I would worry about that the whole time. And when my kids were little, Dakota had swords and huge spears and swords and stuff like that. And I was always worried about kids in his room with all those knives and swords. Elijah had guns, and when a certain kid would come over, I would have him to collect all his guns and go put them in my bedroom, because I did not trust that kid. He had impulse issues, and I just did not trust him. But, yeah, my kids grew up with guns. It's just part of their life. We live in the woods. We live in the WMA. Big Daddy, you know, used to hunt a lot. They always were hunting with him and such. They grew up with gun safety drilled in their head from when they were little. Even with toy guns, they had to practice gun safety. So Big Daddy drilled that in them from a very young age. And I don't know about other families, you know, what they talk about or do, or, you know. So while I trust Zeke and I don't think he would mess with guns, there's always that what if, and I'm just not willing to take that chance. That was a long explanation for that. But anyway, the animals are fine for one night. And we've had to go out of town, and I had to be in the hospital in Shreveport for those nights. One night, you know, the animals were fine. And my son Dakota was here. He could have came if something happened. But when we go to Hot Springs to see Elijah, Dakota will be with us. And he'll be doing the same thing. He'll be leaving his animals for one night also. But I'm going to suggest to him that he leave a key somewhere in case something does happen, that he could call someone to get the key and go tend to his animals if something were to happen and we couldn't get back that next night. Anyway, Cindy said she was crocheting an emotional support chicken. Will you please post a photo of that in the group, in Llama and Big Daddy Facebook group, so I can see your emotional support chicken? I am a chicken lady. I love chickens. We used to have bunches and bunches and bunches of chickens, birds, turkeys, geese, ducks, guineas. I mean, we've had them all. I love watching chickens. I would name chickens, and yeah, my favorite one was Henrietta. Was my chicken. I spoiled her, very much so. And I have caps that say I'm a crazy chicken lady on the front of my caps. I have one cap that says something about I was normal. I can remember the number it's on it. I was normal so many chickens ago. So I love chickens, and so I would love to see your emotional support chicken when you get it finished. You know, I have my emotional support patina, so I'd like to see your chicken. Okay, Nat from Australia was commenting on... She was commenting on... I'm not exactly sure how to say, or what to say. I don't really remember her total comment, but I jotted down some thoughts. And so I want to say that I have good days and bad days. And sometimes those bad days are really, really bad days. But you know, I do have to say, I'm just going to put on my big girl panties, pull them up, and make the best of it. And sometimes it's hard. It is. And I'm not sitting up here trying to pretend like I don't have bad days, or I don't have days that I just can't function, because I do. I do have those days where I just am in the bed in so much pain that I can't get up. I barely can get up to go potty. I have those days too. But I just don't stay there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I just can't, like, let that take over. I can't just say, oh, well, I feel bad. I can't do anything anymore. I can't do that, because I want to live my life. I want to be productive and do stuff. There's too much stuff I want to do to lay around in pain and to, you know, like, get stuck on that. You know, it's okay to have a day or so. It's okay that we get in that and we have bad days, but let's just don't stay there too long, okay? Let's get ourselves up, pull up them big girl panties, and make the best of whatever we got to deal with. And, you know, it may not look like the day you want it to look like, and it may not be, you know, what you hoped for, but it's what we're dealt with. And I don't know, that just looks weird. Sometimes it's just, you know, what we're dealt with, what we're living. It's our life. It's our truth. And so we just have to make the best of it. And it's hard at times. It is. So please don't sit there and think that I don't have bad days, or I don't have days where I don't want to do anything because I just can't function and can't do it. I have those days. But I just don't stay there. You can't have that mindset. You got to figure out what you can do. Yeah, that's it. Don't sit there and think about, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Oh, I wish I could do this, but I can't do that. Okay, let's forget about what we can't do. Let's think about what we can do. I can't go mow my yard. I can't go wash dishes. But I can sit here and crochet. I can, you know, do simple things. I can go clean the toilet and then come sit down and rest. You know, I try to do the things that I can do instead of focusing on what I can't do. Find the things you can do. Maybe you can't do things that you want to do, but there's something you can do. That's it. Focus on things you can do, and don't focus on what you can't do, because there ain't nothing you can do about that. If you can't do it, you can't do it. And, you know, being sad about it's not going to make you be able to do it, right? Now, Nat did not say all this. She didn't ask all this. I'm just giving some little free advice there to whoever's listening. So, yeah, don't focus on what you can't do. Just figure out what you can do and do it and be happy. Sometimes we have to reevaluate and say, okay, well, I can no longer stand for long periods of time to do such and such, or my back hurts or my knees hurt, so I can't do this anymore. But hey, I could sit down and do such and such. So do that. Do it. Focus on that. And don't think about what you're missing out on and what you can't do. Don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can do. And I think people do get stuck in that a lot of times. They're just getting a pity party and say, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. Yeah, but what can you do? So, anyway, let's focus on what we can do. And someone was asking me about, there's a mandala blanket before my video in that little intro. And they were asking about what that blanket was. I believe that's what they're talking about. It was a circle blanket there. It's a mandala blanket, and it is from Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. Did a tutorial on that blanket, and I made several of those blankets, and they were really fun to make because it's all, each row is a different stitch, and it was just fun to do that. I enjoyed that a lot. That's something I'll probably do again in my future. Oh, well, I have enjoyed working on this and chatting with you guys tonight. This is Thursday's video. I'm just recording it during the night so that I could answer questions and get them out there for y'all. So you'd have something to watch when you get up Thursday morning. But I'm going to let you all get going. I'm going to go. My hands are hurting. This is hurting kind of bad right now. I've just been using it a lot today because, like I said, this pad has a cut on it. So I've been having to use this hand like just about for everything because mashing on this hurts. And so I kind of overworked this hand today. But I am going for Thursday. I do have a doctor's appointment today to let the orthopedic look at this hand. I don't think he'll take stitches out because it's kind of soon. I think he'll want me to come back next week to take stitches. But anyway, Miss Curry is going to pick me up Thursday morning, and we're going to go to my doctor's appointment. I appreciate her so very much, and I'm looking forward to spending time with her. So, alright friends, I will see you all in the next video, and I hope you have a blessed day. Remember, it's a beautiful day to crochet. Love you guys.